Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Driven Wyld. Today we are talking about shop and pay orders on UberEats. With all of the different types of deliveries you can receive on UberEats, one of them is the shop and pay order. Now, while some people are immediately going to think that this is not a great opportunity, some people will actually argue that it's like the best 5% of orders in their market, and it really is a market-dependent thing and a personal preference thing, but that doesn't mean we don't need to know everything about it. So with that said, I want to go over everything you must know about the shop and pay orders on UberEats, what they tell you versus how it actually is, and everything in between. But before we do that, let's go over a quick disclaimer. The content of this video does not contain and is never intended to be legal, business, financial, tax, or health advice of any kind. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is advised that you conduct your own research, consult with qualified professionals before applying anything you find online. I also want to be clear that everything I'm going to be going over in this video, as I said before, is market dependent. So what applies to me in my market may not apply to you. So with that said, let's get started. In-store shopping FAQ. What's the best way to find items in the store? Here's some tips to make your shopping experience easier. Look at the category of the item to match the aisle name in the store. The shopping list is divided into categories defined by the store. So the shopping list is going to be updated by the store, but that doesn't mean the location is 100% accurate every single time. There are times where grocery stores rearrange their store for purposes of the season in which you're in. For summer, you're going to notice that some people are celebrating July 4th or doing more summer barbecues and things like that, so maybe things are different. There are grocery stores that I used to know in New York that committed an entire aisle to Passover products and kosher products. There was a store up in New York where they just removed the entire chip aisle and put it in the frozen section for Passover. So it really depends on what they need to do at the time. But that being said, just because it says something in the app doesn't mean it's accurate across the board. Shop for fresh produce, then pick up dairy, meat, or fish. Get frozen items at the end. This is why I personally don't do shop and pay orders, because produce is a very particular subject. But you do need to make sure you're getting quality products for the customer. Walk along the outer edges of the store to look for prepackaged or processed foods. These items are usually placed in the middle aisles and the cash registers. Look for non-essential items such as packaged chips, cookies, and other snacks near the inner aisles. Familiarize yourself with your local market's layout so you can better organize your shopping list and save time. Yet one of the biggest pro tips that I think any shopper can tell you is to make sure you shop at places that you actually know well and like shopping in. You know what I'm talking about? That's the best way to speed up the process of you actually shopping for everything, is to actually make sure you know the stores that you're shopping in like the back of your hand. Like around here, there's a Winn-Dixie that is very popular. If I were doing shop and pay orders, I would make sure I know everything there is to know about that Winn-Dixie. Ask for help from the staff at the store if you can't find an item. Not every grocery store has people that really know what they're doing. Like some people just don't care enough about their grocery job to know every inch of the store like you need to. And some people aren't really working there. They're just a vendor that's shelving their products there. So make sure you understand the difference between a vendor and a store staff, if that makes sense. How do I add additional items to a shopping list? We don't advise adding additional items to the shopping list without the customer's consent. If a customer asks you to replace unavailable items with alternatives, you can follow the in-app process by adding items or adjusting the quantity of the items. If the new total is greater than the estimated price, your Plus card might be declined. This is the one app I would tell you do not allow altering orders, because if that Plus card gets declined, it's not like you could contact support and they can adjust the price for you like it would be for Doordash. What's going to happen is they're going to ask you if you could pay out of pocket and they could reimburse you later. And I'm telling you now, don't do that to yourself. Because it's a nightmare and a half sometimes to get reimbursed. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about in terms of the Plus card specifically, I made a video talking all about that. I'll leave that in the description. Feel free to check it out. How does adding items and entering price by weight work? Customers will see a disclaimer that the price of the item is based on weight. They will also see an estimated price while they shop. They will be charged based on the final weight collected by you, and the receipt will reflect this. Make sure that you're getting the right weight, by the way, because that's kind of important because that really messes with the price of the item. Want a quick way to get declined at the register? Try to enter a wrong price at this point. How do I pick the correct item? As you pick an item in the store, mark it as found or unavailable in the shopping list. Here are some tips. Tap the item to read the description. Click the item name, quantity, weight, size, and brand. When barcode scanning is available, use it to pick the right item. Make sure to check the expiration date of items and take special care with frozen items to maintain their temperature. Yeah, when you scan an item, it's probably going to tell you whether or not it's the right or wrong item at that point. How do I shop for fresh produce? Here are some tips when shopping for fresh produce. Check the surface of the fruits and vegetables for any bumps, bruises, or scratches. Check the firmness when picking root vegetables such as garlic, onions, potatoes. If there are any cracks or if the vegetable is too soft, pick a different one. For citrus fruits, you don't want it to be too firm as it could be dry inside. Ask the store staff if you have any questions about the product. I feel like that's self-explanatory enough. It should be relatively obvious when a fresh produce product is not fresh, says the man who goes in the frozen section for every item he eats. What's the best way to bag and package items? Customers appreciate when their items are packed carefully and are delivered in good condition. Here are some tips. Pack the products by categories such as groceries, cleaning supplies, and delicate products. Pack fragile products on top so they don't get crushed or break. Keep frozen items and perishables such as dairy products together so the temperature is maintained. Keep cold products with cold products, hot products with hot products. Fragile products such as eggs, I would actually just bag separately. I would put that in the top portion of the cart, like the one that's closest to you, so you have total control over that, as well as anything like chips or something like that. And of course, heavier items go on bottom or under the cart. Can I opt out of deliveries where the customer requests me to order and pay or shop and pay? Yes, you can always choose to accept or decline any request. If you no longer wish to receive deliveries in which the customer requests you to order and pay or shop and pay, you can opt out by going to delivery preferences and update your trip preference by switching the toggle on/off. Please note that opting out of these deliveries will not impact your ability to receive other delivery requests. Actually speaking, that's probably one of the best things about this particular platform is that you can actually opt out of certain types of deliveries. Shop and pay, Uber Connect, rideshare, you can have access to them, but you could also just turn them off altogether, which I think is actually really cool. Now, I do have some side notes that I would like to go over on this subject. Return on time. One of the things I talk about relatively often is the concept of return on time. You have your return on investment where you invest money and you get something back. You also need to account for your return on time as a gig worker. When I say return on time, how much are you making on this order? How much time are you committing to it? Some people argue that it's not worth the extra pay or it's not worth shopping for everything. And because of the Uber Plus card and how that works, I kind of agree with that. But at the same time, if the payouts are really in the top 5% of deliveries, it may be irresponsible to not consider it. But because of how the hidden tip system also works, you're not even guaranteed the money you are promised anyway. It could actually end up being more, or it could even be less because of how tip baiting works. But that also said, that is something that needs to be accounted for in terms of return on on time. How does hidden tips and tip baiting work with shop and pay orders? I don't know, but honestly, would I be willing to find out if it's actually worth it based on what they're telling me? Probably not, to be honest. Item count only. So whenever you receive a shop and pay order on Uber Eats, they tell you the item count. They don't tell you what's in it. And it's not just groceries either. This could be CVS, this could be Walgreens, and they may not have the items that you are looking for. And if you have to replace things, and if the plus card gets declined, it could end up being a headache for you. And if it's like 30 items and they have 28, or if they have 15 and you have to basically cancel the order and all of that time is lost, you're getting pocket change. Cancel orders suck on Uber Eats. Because what do you get? You get $3 for a canceled order. That sucks. Like, imagine spending an hour shopping for everything, only to get $3 because they didn't have the items that they were looking for. Personally, if I was doing any kind of shop and pay on Uber Eats, it would have to be like 2, maybe 3 items, if that. And I still wouldn't even opt into it. Risk of deactivation. Anytime we're talking about shop and pay orders and using the plus card for shop and pay orders, there is an inherent risk of deactivation. Why? Because the company itself likes to claim it's fraud when the price is a little higher, even if it's not your fault. But the point is that you tried to use this card, it got declined, you asked for reimbursement or whatever, you had to change an item for whatever reason, or inflation really took a hit on the items that you bought, so it ended up being like 20 bucks more. That can cause a deactivation for yourself. So it's actually dangerous for your account to do shop and pay orders. Is the risk worth the reward? I'm gonna leave that to your discretion, but personally, I wouldn't. Did I miss anything? Is there anything else about shop and pay orders on Uber Eats that I did not cover in this video? Let me know in the comments. Let's make sure that everything that we need to know about shop and pay orders on Uber Eats, especially since I'm not an expert on shop and pay orders and I've opted out personally, is said, and we can make the most amount of money in the least amount of time as possible. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. As always, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.